Hi, everybody. Deirdre here. We are going to go over AI in this video. The first thing we want to discuss is the difference of types of AI. If you have autocorrect on your phone, if you have Netflix and it offers you suggestions, that's what's called predictive AI. We don't have any issues with that. Nobody cares. It's not really a problem. What's becoming a problem and what this video is going to discuss is what's called generative AI. Things like, uh, for example, the AI commercial that McDonald's put out back around the holidays that was so disliked, they pulled it and turned off the comments. Um, and that's part of why we're going to shy away from AI is general public perception tends to be very negative for the videos, for the images. We are a medieval creative group, and part of the issue with AI is content theft, is copyright infringement on artists. We want to support our artists. We want to help them be better. We want them to learn how things were done 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. And you can't do that with generative AI slop. Um, and you can see, a lot of the negative comments. People don't want to see this from a medieval group. So some of it is public perception, and we don't want to appear fake. We don't want to appear disingenuous. That can turn a lot of people off. Um, Another issue are concerns with generative AI, how expensive it is. Um, Companies have lost money. There was one just a couple days ago um, where an AI kind of went rogue and deleted the company's software and their backups and said, "Ha, I did what I want." Um, they had an offsite backup. They were able to get some things back, but a lot of their current work was destroyed. It was eliminated. Um, I will include the links for all of these things at the end so you can read these articles on your own if you want. That was an oops. Um, but it's costing companies billions of dollars. Does the SCA have billions of dollars? No. Are we going to be using this at a corporate level? Probably not. Not anytime soon. Um, our big concern is trust in consumers, especially new people, support for our artists and their work, and safety. When it comes to social media, there's concerns. Um, if your company uses AI and you have a good experience with it, that's one thing. Companies individualize the content. They make it specifically for their uses. The internet's the wild west of chaos. It's not the same as what your workplace is doing. And part of the issue is a bunch of these fake images, these shareable screenshots, these cut and paste, copied, fake nonsense. Some of this is just ridiculous. Some of it, is artwork. It's all generated to be shared, to create impressions, to monetize the network. And some of it's, adorable, but it's also wrong and it creates problems. It creates false information. It creates a lack of trust because you don't know what's real and what's fake anymore. And as a group that prides itself on accuracy and research, we really need to stay away from things that are false, that are fake information, that are, I mean, just outright lies, and how identical these things are, and just copied and pasted from all the things. Here's the actual problem, the actual concern as far as social media goes. As recently as less than a year ago, bots were submitting fake reports. Facebook's AI automatically was suspending groups because of these interactions. When you share these fake images that are generated by other things, it creates a lot of interest, it creates a lot of input, and unfortunately, it creates a security issue. And what happened last year was hundreds of groups got shut down and deleted by Facebook. Bot people. You see them on especially political posts. You see a bunch of like repeated words on an all. This is not a right left thing. This is an everybody thing. You will see repeated comments. You will see a flood of false information, of just negative name calling, things like that. None of those are real people. They're accounts created from overseas, set to look like they're local, to look like they're real people. They're stolen accounts, hacked accounts, things like that, that create discord, that create backdoor information. What happens is you get a bunch of, and we avoid a lot of this with security protocols and setting those questions up and putting our groups to private or having post approval on things like that. But even in private groups, people's accounts were being hacked. And now you have somebody who's already in your group, who's been a part of your group for years, that now is hacked, and the information has gone out to 10 of their friends, and now 10 of their friends have been hacked. And now you have all these people that are in your group that aren't them anymore, and they start reporting things. And Facebook's algorithm goes, oh, this group has become a problem. We're going to suspend them for a temporary bit, investigate, and possibly shut them down. And with Facebook's, with Meta's switch to so much AI and automated reporting, these groups were just getting shut down. Bot networks were exploiting the AI system and turning these groups into suspended or deleted groups. 3 random groups that I was in, 2 were private, 1 was public. They're just gone. And all the pictures, all the information, it's gone. You can't access it anymore. Facebook's like, well, sorry, too bad. And the information's gone. You cannot get it back. You have to start over from scratch. AI's moderation system processes approximately 3 million posts daily. It makes wrong decisions. Oops, sorry, oh well. To avoid this from happening, we want to avoid the AI images. We want to avoid the sharing of the videos, of the graphics that somebody else created that we saw that we thought was cool. Theirs is a public post. We share it to our group. That's how this happens. Um, and unfortunately, it's a risk. It is a problem. Now, if you, as a social media officer, go to Canva, you're creating an event banner. You use Canva's AI assistance to clear up your image, to make it prettier, to help with your wording, things like that. That's not really a problem. That's not what we're trying to avoid. You're creating the thing. If you're using something to assist you, that's fine. If you don't have anybody in your group, you don't know anybody with the skills to do it, it's not a big deal to use those assisted features. Like I said, if you're using generative AI to create a medieval image, there could be some backlash and people, you know, if you're trying to reach out, there's going to be a lot of pushback from the populace. There's going to be a lot of pushback from newcomers about whether or not it's legitimate, it's real. um, our people are used to created thing by handmade created things, even the graphics. When you use generative AI, it creates a trust issue between you and your populace or you and newcomers who think, well, if they're using this, then, it's just another LARPing group. They're not really into being accurate, being informative. They're just, where I'm trying to get. And that's not going to be everybody. But right now, um, most people are very hesitant to trust AI generated images. And if we are posting AI generated images to create um, event banners and things like that, it may actually turn people off from attending your event. Um, and that's not what we want to do. We definitely want to encourage people to come, um, using on the SCA.org about photo gallery. I will include this link at the end also. If you don't have a fantastic picture, if you don't have a photographer in your group, things like that, the SCA has a photo gallery. You can use these images to create your event banners, to create your posts. If you personally don't have these images, the SCA does. They have a gallery of images that you can use. Come here, explore it, add these to your graphics, add these to your banners, use a filter on them. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, these are our groups. These are our people. Use these images for your graphics, for your banners, instead of going the generative AI. It gives that trust, it gives that honesty, it gives real images of our people in garb and what we do. And you don't have to have these images yourself. They're here for you to use. Um, Fireworks at Penzic, that's cool. But there's all these different images. You can use them. You can look through this. A lot of times, friends will have cool images. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Ask in the social media officer group. Ask on the Discord. Hey, who has a cool picture of this? Hey, I want to make a banner with this. Who can help me create this? Um, we're here to help each other. And if we can do that in a realistic way, instead of relying on AI images that the populace and newcomers will lose some trust and lose some faith in our authenticity of it, ask for help. We're here to support each other. If you want to learn how to do these things, uh, I'm not the best at it, but I can show you what I know. If you have concerns about, well, I think, we're just stagnating and we need to embrace technology, I don't disagree with you. And I think that at some point, this will become less of an issue and it will be effective for us to use. But especially with the loss of Facebook groups and the risk of security issues that it currently creates, that it's currently a problem, it's currently a risk issue and a trust issue. And for now, I think distancing ourselves from using it in regular everyday practices is important. Um, Too many of the images, too many of the videos are inaccurate information. They're disproven myths. They are just factually incorrect. AI is not fact checkers. And in so many cases, the information is just flat out wrong or dangerous. If you type in, a medieval cookie recipe, I saw one that contained wolfsbane that is poisonous to humans. We do not want to make medieval cookies out of a poisonous recipe that never existed in the Middle Ages. It was just an AI creation. It's not a thing we want to use. There's too much security, there's too much real risk at the current standpoint. Stuff improves, technology is constantly changing and improving. If it adjusts, if it becomes better, we will absolutely revisit this and allow it, change how we approach it. But for now, there's just too much risk and too much artistic integrity challenges that we don't feel comfortable using it as a society, or at least as the Midrealm, just yet. Technology improves, it gets better, the security is better. We can revisit this, absolutely. But for now, it is a problem and it creates danger and security risk and trust issues in populace and newcomers. If you have questions, if you have concerns, you may always reach out to me at social media at midrealm.org. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Discord. I am here to talk with you about this and would love to discuss alternatives and ways that we can make things easier on ourselves, and keep the trust with our artists and keep the historical accuracy with our newcomers and our populace, and do it without risking the security that comes with using generative AI videos and images at this time. That's all. Thank you.